the achievements that have led to me being nominated for this award. They all, I didn't do any of them myself. You talked about fingerprints and footprints. Everything that I've accomplished with other people. Often I think just by dumb luck, by getting on the right committee with great people. All of the things I've accomplished have come from the efforts of a group of individuals that have worked together as a team. They've contributed greatly to my achievements, and they've also made the time enjoyable and have become lifelong friends. So again, I encourage you all to get involved in something. It can be with PATS or NATA or a community group. Many of the people that I've worked with have become lifelong friends in addition to being valued colleagues, and many of you are in this room, so it's great to be up here speaking to you. That's why coming to PATS, I say, feels like a reunion, because I know so many of you, we've worked hard together towards these goals. And it's great to hear what PATS is continuing to do with the business meeting today. They're continuing so many fantastic endeavors that we began before I was involved with PATS. As you wind through your professional and personal life, you'll be provided with a lot of opportunities and a lot of choices. These opportunities and the decisions that you make, whether to accept or reject them, are going to have a profound effect on your personal and professional career. You don't have to say yes to all of them, but you should think about considering all of these opportunities and decide if there's something that's a good fit for you. I think athletic trainers, as other people have said, we have a hard time saying no. So often we're going to volunteer for things, but I encourage you to volunteer as much as you can. I don't really remember my thought process when I was younger in my career as to why I picked this opportunity or this position or that position, but I think I was always lucky because I ended up being surrounded by outstanding individuals. And that, I think, is what really has shaped me. I've had the luxury and the luck of working with some great clinicians, some great leaders, and some great athletic trainers. I took advantage as often as I could of these opportunities, and I think they shaped my personal and professional life. If I look back at the various places that I've learned, worked, and volunteered, I always see the same thing come out. I've worked with some great individuals, and I count myself lucky to do so. My greatest contributions to athletic training, I think, come in two main areas. First, my service to athletic training professional organizations, primarily PATS. I have worked with the NATA and CATI and other organizations, but I think the bulk of my time has been working with our society here in Pennsylvania. The other thing that I'm most proud of professionally is my time as an educator. And I'll speak about both of those here. I strongly encourage all of you to get involved in a professional organization like PATS. PATS has given me way more than I've given it. It's allowed me to work with similarly minded, passionate professionals that make a difference in our profession. Especially since this is the 40th anniversary, I wanted to talk about kind of the history of one of these things that I know I worked on. I think my single proudest moment in PATS came during the celebration we had in 2012 at the PATS meeting following our licensure bill being passed. As many of you know, this was the third real big push of PATS to work on credentialing in Pennsylvania. This achievement was a great example of the value of working together as a team. Not just the current board, but following the leadership of previous boards. We initiated the push for licensure during my second year as president. However, the work towards this goal began way before this. It actually began 40 years previous to today, back in the mid-70s when PATS was formed. And its leaders began the initial credentialing efforts in Harrisburg. When PATS was first formed, that was one of their first goals, was to try to get athletic trainers recognized by the state as a healthcare profession. So that push began 40 years ago, which is amazing to me. I was, mind you, in grade school at the time, probably lining up to see Star Wars. Mark, what were you doing then? Were you one of those people? Yeah, good. I like to pick on Mark. But again, that started way back then. Athletic trainers first became credentialed due to these individuals' efforts in the mid-'80s. Again, about the time when I was probably lining up to see Indiana Jones and was in high school. But again, that's when this effort started. Our quest for licensure continued with our second legislative effort that led to athletic trainers being credentialed instead of under the State Board of Physical Therapy, under the medical boards. Again, a great improvement and enhancement of our credential. Again, numerous PATS leaders, again, many of you are here, Paula, and we talked about Joe Izzy, and again, several different presidential terms all contributed to this effort. Barry was very involved writing the language and so on. This bill finally passed in 2001, which at that point I had stopped seeing any movies because my son Tucker was born and interfered with my movie-going experience, because you were a needy newborn, very good kid. But we couldn't go to movies anymore for a little while. Now I go to movies with them all the time. Our third legislative effort resulted in licensure, and I was involved with PATS at that time. And it makes me proud, not just because we achieved kind of that end goal, although we still have improvements to make, but it was the result of hundreds of people's efforts working towards a common goal. So it was something for all of PATS to celebrate, because it took so many people and so much time to get to where we want to be. And I see some of the efforts we're continuing in Harrisburg, and it continues to get better and better. I'm honored to have played a part and be a part of such an amazing group of people. And it's really rewarding, something I'm proud of every day. I still have the old BOC map on my in my office showing Pennsylvania as certified. And again, it reminds me every day of all of the work that people did to help us achieve licensure. There are so many people that I'd like to thank and acknowledge. I can't, because it's half the people in this room have touched me in some way or helped me in my role as an educator or as PATS president. My colleagues, I do want to mention some as a group, and again, my colleagues at Penn State when I was doing my doctorate, my colleagues at Lock Haven. I was only there 5 years, but I still feel a real bond with the students from Lock Haven as well as the faculty there. And my current colleagues at Cal U all have provided me great support over the years. Again, great friendship, help along the way, and I hope that I've been able to provide similar support. It's always great to work with similarly minded and passionate colleagues and be part of a team. Being president of PATS, I will say, was mildly terrifying. Anybody that assumes that role, Guy, you mentioned it today, it is terrifying, but it is nice to know you have so many people there to help you make the tough decisions. As PATS president, I knew I could call any past president, I could call any past board member, and they would answer my questions, give me an honest opinion of a situation, and that gave me so much comfort knowing that you were always there for me. I reached out to the PATS leaders often for their input, and again, need to owe you all a debt of support. I've been working as an educator, educating the future athletic trainers since the 90s. I really would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge all of the students I've had. I've learned from every student that's come through Lock Haven, Cal, and again, you've helped me develop as a professional as much as hopefully I've helped you develop. Plus, you've given me some great stories. After this, if you want to hear some, I have some great ones about many of the people in this room. Ask Greg about his poncho. So I'm incredibly proud to see also so many past students here at PATS involved with things, coming to the meetings, on the board of directors, on various PATS committees, and involved in our profession. Finally, I do want to thank the best team I've ever worked with. No offense to all the other groups out there, but that's my family. We all know that volunteering takes a lot of time away from home, away from your kids, away from your spouse, and we always have someone there covering for us. So I do want to thank my wife Ellen, who is a past executive board member as well and fellow athletic trainer, which makes it a little bit easier for her, I think, to understand what I'm doing when I'm away. And again, I couldn't ask for a better wife, colleague, friend, and mother for my children. She's awesome. Right, guys? Yeah. All right. I also want to thank my kids, Tucker, Sam, and Grace, for coming here, but also, again, for just being, inspiring me every day to be a better person. And again, I appreciate all of your support and your time. All right, Sam, thank you, buddy. Again, once again, I'd like to thank the PATS Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me. It certainly is an award I will always cherish. So, thank you.